What's up guys, it's Shane here from House of Cards TCG, coming to you with a brand new deck profile. This deck is absolutely insane. You guessed it, it's Drytron. It's storming the meta right now, and I can't wait to show you this deck profile because I just played with it at my locals. I came in first place, 4 rounds of Swiss, then we did a top 8 cut, and this deck is just absolutely insane. So let's jump right into it.
House of Cards TCG.
Okay, so the first thing we want is 3 Drytron Nova. Gotta play this in 3, it's your best starter. Just a great card in general. So you use it to bring out the Drytron, and then you link Rebo with the Drytron, and then you can activate it from the graveyard. Next thing is 3 Fafnir. Excellent starter as well, lets you add a Drytron spell or trap from deck to hand. And the other one is 3 Cyber Emergency. Add a Drytron deck to hand. So great cards there. And then 3 Preparation of Rites. There's so many searchers in this deck. Preparation of Rites is just ridiculous. And next thing we have is 3 Droplets. This card did come in handy a few times, but all in all, I think I'm actually gonna probably pull this from the main deck, put it in the side. And the reason for that is because there's just better cards I think I'd rather see in my opening hand. This deck can really get destroyed by hand traps. It gets hit by Ash, gets hit by Droll really hard, and it gets hit by Ghost Bell. So whenever they hand trap you, I'd just prefer to have a Triple Tactics Talent to rip a card from their hand, or whatever it might be, or draw 2 if they hit you with an Ash. If they hit you with a Droll, that's a tough spot you're going to be in. So yeah, we do 1 Meteonus Drytron. I think I'd probably up this to 2. I think you want to see it more often than not. I think there's extra utility from having 2 instead of the 1. We do 1 Foolish Burial. You can dump a Drytron from deck to grave. Called by the Grave. Like I said, I'm getting hit by hand traps, so it's funny, the only time I resolved this in the tournament, they drolled me and I chained Called by the Grave, and they chained another droll from the hand. So really unfortunate, but otherwise I'd love to see this in opening hand. Now into the Drytrons. We do 3 Alpha. This is the one the one you want to see most often. It adds the ritual card, the ritual monster from deck to hand. I did 2 Zeta, thinking about upping this to 3. I think it really should have been 3 when I'm only playing the 1 ritual spell, but I went with 2 Delta, and I think I'd rather have an extra Zeta instead of the Delta. The Delta, it does have some good utility, allowing you some extra draw power. And yeah, I think I'd just rather have the Zeta though. And then we did 2 Gamma. This one's great. Flooding the field lets you bring another Drytron from your grave to the field. We did 1 Manju, 1 Cyber Petite Angel. Just adds a lot of consistency. Manju is a great starter. When you go into the Manju though, the only negative is that you can't go into your Vanity's Ruler play, which is, in my opinion, the best play of the deck, because it's so hard for other decks to play around. I mean, they really just have to hard draw the outs to the card. And putting them in that spot, I think, is more beneficial. I've seen a lot of people playing the Herald of Ultimate in this play, and I have that play in the deck. It's just, I just prefer the Vanity's Ruler play. I think it's an auto-win. Any deck that can throw out an auto-win card so easily, I think you just want to abuse that as much as possible. We do 1 Eva, 1 Dawn Knight. Eva just for adding more fairies to hand. The Dawn Knight you use with the Union Carrier play. And like I said, we do the 1 Vanity's Ruler. This is the ultimate boss monster of the deck. You get this card out, your opponent cannot special summon monsters. That's extremely oppressive. And to be able to get it out so easily is why this deck is so good right now. We did 3 Herald of the Orange Light. This card's a great hand trap. It's basically your only hand trap in the deck. So it you know, it does help. I did open it once, actually 2 of them, and my opponent kind of bricked. So that one usage of it really was impactful. Next thing is 3 Ben 10. This card is this deck abuses this card. It is just ridiculous what you can do by tributing the Ben 10. Fun fact, the tribute is anytime it's tributed. So if you use the Ben 10 to be tributed from the Vanity's ruler, you still get that effect. So this card is just amazing. And then we did the 1 Ultimateness and the 1 Natasha. This Natasha was basically the MVP. What it can do, you know, going second or late game is just absolutely crazy. It's broken. It's not once per turn. So Natasha is incredible. It is, you know, truly an insane card. And the fact that it's so easy to steal your opponent's monsters and then link off with them and do it again, it's just crazy. So let's go into the extra deck. We did the 1 Union Carrier, 1 Relinquished Anima, 1 Link Karibo. Let's get these in the center here. 1 Boral Sword, 1 Cross Sheep, 1 Access Code Talker. We got the Nightmare package. So Cerberus as well. Didn't use the Nightmare package as much as I thought I would, so I could probably cut that. Cross Sheep I thought I would use more often too, but just didn't come in handy that much. And then we got Geonator. If you can resolve this card, it's really funny. You can swap your opponent's monsters with yours. Pretty cool. The 1 Appaloosa, very situational. I didn't actually use Appaloosa, but good card. Herald of the Mirage Lights. This card is great. A lot of people haven't seen this one before. When I brought it out, they had to read it, didn't know what it did. So it can negate or spell or trap by sending a fairy from your hand to the graveyard, and then if it's sent to your graveyard by your opponent's card, add 2 ritual monsters or ritual spells from different names from your graveyard to your hand. So it's a really great card. And we played a small Zeus package. So did the 1 Lilirisk, the 1 Downard Magician, and the 1 Zeus. And that came in handy big time. I definitely wouldn't cut that out. Really strong package. Let's go into the side deck. First thing is 3 Droll and Lockbird. Against the mirror, it hits Invoked really hard. It's you know, extremely good against the deck. That's the biggest weakness of the deck, is that Droll just makes you have so many negative plays during your turn. It's pretty bad. You almost have to just hope they can't OTK you and then try to play the next turn. 3 Dark Ruler No More. Again, good against the mirror. I was playing some combo decks. Played Infernoble. Dark Ruler No More really came in handy. They set up, you know, Borderland Savage. They set up all these crazy boards, and Dark Ruler No More just kind of makes all that useless. 3 Nibiru. Like I said, I saw a lot of combo decks today. So the Nibiru really came in handy. I did the 1 Red Reboot. Got my back row hate. 1 Lightning Storm, 1 Feather Duster, and 2 Twin Twisters. I know you're saying, why 1 Lightning Storm? Well, I only have 1. If I had 3, I'd probably play 2 in the Feather Duster. The Twin Twisters is good because you don't mind if your Drytrons are in the grave. A lot of your cards in the grave are still playable. So yeah, let's jump into some test hands and show you what this deck can do. Alright, so let's go into some test hands for this deck. And I will shuffle this a couple times so you know I'm not setting this up or giving myself an incredible hand just for the purpose of the video. We'll make this truly random and you can see what the deck can do. And the other thing I wanted to address, I did not include the Dragoon package in this deck. And the first reason was, this was my first tournament playing with this deck. Just wanted to see what it could do without it. And the other reason, I don't think you need it to win. And so if I don't have to play those vanillas that I can draw into and add a brick to my hand, I prefer not to. And I did really well without it. You know, won the tournament, 14 participants, so that was really cool. Let's jump into this test hand. Prep of Rights, Drytron Fafnir, Manju, Called by the Grave, and Medionis Drytron. So not a bad hand. First thing we'll do is activate the Drytron Fafnir. That lets us add a Drytron Speller Trap from deck to hand. So we want to go with Drytron Nova. We will activate the Drytron Nova. Let's move this down. That lets us special summon a Drytron monster from your deck, but destroy it during the end phase. So we will add the Alpha. Then we will link the Alpha off into a Link Karibo. Activate Preparation of Rites. That lets us add a level 7 or lower ritual monster from our deck to our hand. And that's going to be Ben 10. So we got the Ben 10. Next we're going to tribute the Ben 10 for the Alpha effect triggers. And we'll add another Ben 10. And then we get Ben 10's effect to add a light fairy from deck to hand. This goes to the grave. So we will add, let's go with a where is my Herald of Ultimateness? There we go. Add the Herald of Ultimateness. And next we'll do a link. We'll link the Alpha off into our relinquished Anima. And then we'll link the Link Karibo and the relinquished Anima off, since they're both dark, into our Union Carrier. Then we activate Union Carrier effect. We equip Dawn Knight from the deck to the Union Carrier. And that gives it 2,000 attack, so that's important, because the ritual monsters here go by attack. So the next thing we will do is do a ritual summon with Medionis Drytron. And we use the Union Carrier as the tributed monster to bring out our, let's go ahead and bring out our Herald of Ultimateness. Not a bad spot. And then we get the Dawn Knight's effect when it hits the graveyard. That lets us dump a light monster from our graveyard. So let's go ahead and dump the Gamma. So then we will activate the Gamma effect from the graveyard. And we will bring back our Alpha. And Ben 10 effects triggered because we tributed him for the summon of Gamma. So with Ben 10, we will add our Vanity's Ruler. And then we will trigger Medionis Drytron's effect to reduce the attack of one of our Drytron monsters by 1,000 and add it back to hand. And then we'll activate the Medionis Drytron, tributing the Alpha to bring a Ben 10. And then we will tribute summon the Gamma and the Alpha for our Vanity's Ruler, which will trigger the Ben 10 effect. So at that point, we will add an Eva from deck to hand. And so our end board here is going to be an Omni Negate with Herald of Ultimateness, which will actually be multiple Omni Negates because of Eva's effect when he's sent to the graveyard. We can add more fairies to our hand. And then we have another fairy here. And then we have a Vanity's Ruler, which says our opponent can't special summon. And we also would set the Called by the Grave, another disruption. So we end our board with what a lot of decks just cannot deal with at all. So that's what makes this deck so strong. Just off of those cards in hand, I can get out an extremely, extremely oppressive board with a Vandy's Ruler and a Herald of Ultimateness. And let me know down below. Do not be afraid to comment and let me know what I could have done more efficiently. That's the graveyard there. And yeah, I'm really excited about this deck. I think it has so much potential. I would make a few changes, just like I said. I would pull one of the deltas, and I think I would pull the Forbidden Droplets. They do come in handy, but there's just other cards I'd rather see. So let me know what you think of the Drytrons down below. This is Shane Gunther, House of Cards TCG, signing out.